as proposed, it would have a big effect. We probably wouldn't be able to trade because it would cost so much to bring a van in every day.
And each time they come in, if they have to pay congestion charge, we won't have a business here at all.
That's even worse. I don't know who's coming up with these ideas. It's just beyond me how they can possibly think that that is a good idea.
And to expect people to pay £5 a day, £1,300 to, in the middle of a cost of living crisis is just, it's outrageous, and it's a curb on our freedoms, and I absolutely can't support it.
This is Callum Smiles for Rebel News in one of the most famous cities in the United Kingdom, and that is Cambridge. Home to one of the most prestigious universities around the world and known for all things cycling and boat races. However, it is now one of the main talks of the country for another reason, and that is the Cambridge Congestion Charge. So what exactly is the Cambridge Congestion Charge? Well, it's a zone around Cambridge called the Sustainable Travel Zone, or the STZ for short. And when a car drives inside the zone, there is a daily charge between the hours of 7 AM and 7 PM. This would mean a £5 charge for cars, £10 for vans, and £50 for lorries. So who is proposing this, and why do they want it? Well, the Greater Cambridge Partnership, or the GCP for short, are the powerful people in charge bringing this in. So who are the GCP, I hear you ask? Well, that's an excellent question. The GCP are made up of 3 local councils: the Cambridgeshire County Council, Cambridge City Council, and the South Cambridgeshire District Council, as well as university and business representatives. Well, they want a future that sees Cambridge having a London-style bus service. For international viewers, that's supposed to mean an efficient bus or public transport service. But the expansion and development of buses will cost a lot. 50 million by the GCP's calculations. And it's this 50 million that they hope to raise from the Cambridge Congestion Charge. The GCP are very powerful. However, the ultimate decision to implement the congestion charge does come down to Cambridgeshire County Council. So it's kind of similar to other things happening around the UK, and the reasons given are similar also. The supposed improvement in air quality, the more pedestrian-friendly areas, and ultimately making Cambridge a nicer place for visitors. The question is, will the Cambridge Congestion Charge have a knock-on effect on everyday people's lives? Well, the answer is yes. This is Cambridge Market. It's a unique, historic and vibrant market, popular with many tourists who visit the area. And a single van here, if they were to come here 5 times a week, well, that would become £50. In the space of a month, that becomes £200, and so on. The sort of costs, some would say, is unsustainable. So I thought I'd speak to some of the market stall owners and see exactly what they think and exactly how it's going to affect them. What are your thoughts on the Cambridge Congestion Charge?
They need a congestion charge of some sort, otherwise this town will just suffocate under the private motorists. I'm not proposing that commercial vehicles should be charged.
And what sort of impact would this have on your business?
As proposed, it would have a big effect. We probably wouldn't be able to trade because it would cost so much to bring a van in every day.
So Florina, what do you think of the Cambridge Congestion Charge, and how is it going to affect you and your market stall?
Well, we're not very happy with it because that means we have to pay more, and this is daily. So every day you trade, you pay more. So just basically milk more money out of us, literally, forever. So we're not happy with it. They should help us or provide us somewhere to park, especially for the market traders, because the community benefits from us and us from them. So, none of us is happy, really.
So what are your thoughts about the Cambridge Congestion Charge, and how is it going to affect your stall?
Well, just additional costs, unnecessary, absolutely. And why congestion charge if we have such a bad roads? That's the main problem. We are driving through all those holes Nobody is doing anything about it, you know. Possibly garages will be making a huge amount of money at the moment because we will have to repair our vans, you know, suspensions. So yeah, absolutely against.
One woman who worked on the market came over with her phone and explained her husband, who wasn't there at the time but also works on the market, was keen to speak with journalists reporting on the impact of the congestion charge to normal people's lives because the local papers don't bother. And how is the Cambridge Congestion Charge going to affect you and your market stall?
Because the regulations of Cambridge Market require that the stalls are left empty and vacant at the end of each trading day. This means we have to bring in and take away the goods, the objects, every single day we trade. So we use a large van because you have to fit in the equipment for 2 stalls. Other people with lots of goods have to, you know, pack into a van as well, and this will attract the higher charge. So this means that we could be looking at an extra £20 a day of cost for the 6 days we trade, and then you can multiply this up and you can rapidly come out with a number which would indicate something of, you know, 500 or so plus pounds per month extra cost. And this is meant to be a market that is accessible for local people to sell local goods and to be relatively inexpensive. However, the congestion charge, in the manner which it's being brought in, with no discount, will result in significant extra costs, and I'm sure will drive people away from the centre.
So that's what the smaller independent businesses have to say. But what about the larger high street chains? Well, Marks and Spencer is a classic, highly renowned British supermarket, and they've told Cambridge Council that if the current plans go ahead, they will have to leave the city centre. And it's not difficult to see. If their lorries cost £50 each, with such a large financial burden, it will simply be unviable for them to operate in Cambridge city centre. The retailer had this to say in a consultation response. We have calculated that the annual cost to M&S could be up to £140,000. This represents an extraordinary rise in the cost of doing business as a retailer in Cambridge city centre. The Small Business Chronicle reports that across the industry, grocery store profit margins are on average between just 1% and 3%. Without a plan to ensure the long-term future of the city centre, the implications for employment and revenue across the local retail sector could be significant. I'm sure you will agree that a vibrant city centre is essential to drive prosperity and well-being for Cambridge residents and visitors alike. If you like this style of reporting and these sorts of stories resonate with you, then please help us with our crowdfunding efforts so we can continue to bring you these stories. So when it comes to Cambridge, there is a lot to unpack. For those who are unaware of this part of the world, it's a beautiful, historic city, popular amongst students, and an already very good place for cyclists. And if you're looking for the studenty areas and the independent shops, then you would look no further than Mill Road. This is Mill Road Bridge. This bridge links the southeast part of the city with the rest of Cambridge. It's one of the busiest roads in the city, and the independent businesses have thrived along here for decades. There's very real fears now that the Cambridge Congestion Charge will destroy the independent business along Mill Road. If they're forced to pay thousands of pounds extra every year just to have stock delivered, it'll harm independent businesses who already struggled and weathered the COVID storm. To make matters worse, the Cambridge Council want to turn this bridge into a bus-only bridge. It's more pedestrianisation and traffic calming measures. Again, being snuck in under the guise of improving air quality. They closed the bridge during lockdown and it was a disaster. Traffic is just diverted around other roads and the journeys become longer and more difficult. So business owners on Mill Road are currently facing 2 threats. The looming Cambridge Congestion Charge and the closure of the Mill Road Bridge. So I've come here to speak to Mr. Shapur Mefta, the head of the Mill Road Traders Association. Mr. Mefter.
Hello, good morning to you.
Good to see you.
How are you? Okay.
So, tell me about the congestion charge and more importantly, the Mill Road Bridge, well, closing to cars. Why is this such a concern to you and other businesses on Mill Road?
So the first important thing I'm going to talk about is the Mill Road Bridge, because the Mill Road Bridge is designed to link the communities. That bridge is designed to link the Romsey people to this side, which is Petersfield. From day one, we will keep saying it's a one road, one community. But by closing the bridge, it's going to be two communities, and we're going to have problem. They closed the bridge during the lockdown, and we noticed the business went down. Lots of business, they couldn't even afford to keep it going, even with the grant we got from the government. It was just impossible. Then they opened the bridge, we managed to survive again, and then at the county, they decided to close it again because they say it's better for the pedestrians, cyclists, and everything. And they keep coming with the different data saying it's safer for the cyclists, it's safer for the pedestrian, and it's going to make the life better for the businesses, which I don't think so. As a chair for Mill Road Traders, I can assure you it's going to affect on all of us, and soon we're going to sell everything. We're going to close the shop because it's pointless to have to be here longer hours to be able to make money, which there is nobody out there. Then the congestion charge. They are saying there are it's too much traffic out there. The problem is they're closing all the side roads. They're going to close Mill Road Bridge. They're going to pass all the traffic to like a ring road around Cambridge. And you can see the queue starting early in the morning because people are trying to get to their home or to work or whatever it is. And because the queue is there, they're saying, oh, because it's too much traffic, we have to make sure people are not going to use their car, they can use the public transport. And the public transport, can you rely on it? I have no idea yet, but there is miss and go. Sometimes they turn up, sometimes they don't turn up. But the thing is, they cannot tax us for what they want to do. We will not pay £5 or £10 or £50 towards something which they should have done a long time ago. And now they're saying, look, you have to pay for it. What do we have to pay for a transport which doesn't exist? Get that right before you can start. People are switching to the electric cars because they say, okay, diesel and petrol, we're going to save the environment, less pollution. They're not exempt from it. They have to still pay £5 or whatever it is for everyday usage. So we are 100% against both things which they are doing. I mean, they managed to come and say we're going to close the bridge. And we can't do much about it. We're going to fight with them all the way. We're still trying to fight with them. With the congestion charge, no way. We're going to go all the way. We're going to fight. We're going to have rallies. We're going to have everything to stop them. According to them, 58% they are against them. Only 34% they are for it, and 7% or 10% not sure. So majority say we are against it. What's the problem?
So how badly do you think the Cambridge Congestion Charge is going to affect businesses on this road?
It's going to have massive effect on them because deliveries, they're going to pay for deliveries. It's going to cost them £50 a day. I mean, if you look at that shop, he's having a delivery, and that is going to add £50 to their delivery. And who's going to pay for that? They're going to pass that to them, and they're going to pass it to the customer. So is it fun? Is it fair or not? I can assure you it's not fair. And if you would like, I can take you inside. You can talk to the owner of this shop, which is having a delivery now, and he will tell you exactly how he's going to impact his business by having congestion charge.
So I just want to know, how exactly is the congestion charge going to affect your business?
It will affect my business because most of our customers come from outside Cambridge, and each time they come in, if they have to pay congestion charge, we won't have a business here at all. So we have to be depending on local and neighborhood customers. It's a small fraction of our business, and most of them come from outside Cambridge.
And do you think that the closure of the Mill Road Bridge, could really damage your business?
He has done before when he was closed. It was a bridge too far. And then it says, I don't think we can afford it this time.
Mr. Mefta took me along Mill Road and introduced me to several business owners, all of whom are concerned about the congestion charge and the closure of Mill Road Bridge. So how is the closure of the Mill Road Bridge and the congestion charge going to affect you and your business?
It's going to stop people, foot traffic going by. I think it's going to ruin the community spirit down here. Everyone sort of looks after each other in the shops, and I just think it'll kill it off eventually. We need that community spirit to keep us all going.
So how exactly is the closure of the Mill Road Bridge and the congestion charge going to affect your business?
Oh, it is affect maybe 80-90%, or maybe post office going to close is definitely, because the bridge is very important for the Mill Road, and lots of people go from here to the other side of the bridge, and every day I use this bridge. It is very essential part of the bridge to keep open all the time. And congestion charge also, it is I'm very against, and it is affect every business, and it is not necessary this in this small city of Cambridge. Definitely, because people are happy now is walking or cycling or whatever they by their own choice. And if you put the congestion charge for the every day, it is affecting whole life and the system in the Cambridge, and all the people, most of the people going away from the Cambridge, and the business will be, most of the business will be collapsing.
So why are you concerned about the closure of the Mill Road Bridge and the Cambridge Congestion Charge?
Well, as a local business owner, we rely a lot on footfall. So initially that's going to be reduced. Myself and my team here, they have to take a longer route to come in, and more importantly, when we have to show properties that are probably just on the other side of the bridge, we're not going to have to take a two-mile detour possibly just to go ahead and do that. I think the way it's been thought out is not right. Yes, it may result in less through traffic here, but it's going to displace. It's going to displace traffic. People are going to have to take longer journeys, and I think if the calculations were really done, it may even end up worse overall for the city. If we have to now spend more time and more resources to do what we do, at the end of the line, that's a bottom line cost for us for that. Whether it's fuel, whether it's time, however you want to do it. In a time motion study, we will be worse off. But if we look at the greater aspect and we look at the congestion charge, that is going to, this is the start, this is the first hurdle for us, but that is going to have a huge impact on our business. I can't, like many businesses, we are now struggling. We've got increased rents, increased utility costs. It's hard enough for businesses as it is. I can't afford to cover the costs for myself and my team to come in to Cambridge when they live outside the zone, and I can't absorb that. At the same time, I can't expect them to pay it out of their wages. So, for me as a business owner, we are literally between a rock and a hard place.
Mr. Mefta and other Mill Road businesses are determined to resist what's happening. They've spent years building business in this part of Cambridge, and now the Cambridge Congestion Charge and the closure of Mill Road Bridge could seriously damage their livelihoods. The Cambridge Congestion Charge, according to the majority of people I've spoken to, is a disaster for Cambridge. Okay, it might eventually pay for a fancy new bus service, and the hope is that it will improve public transport, but it's not all it seems. Firstly, the Greater Cambridge Partnership have been accused of being sneaky with the implementation of all this. The common accusation is that there is a lack of democracy, that a few councillors, a few business people and the universities have set their sights on the Cambridge Congestion Charge, and they will do anything to get it through regardless of what the people of Cambridge think. A common thing people complain about is that the consultation surveys, etc., have been purposely biased and that there is a lack of democracy in Cambridge. So the majority of people want an improved bus service, of course, but the majority of people do not want motorists to be charged to finance this. The Labour County Councillor, Elisa Machini, on seeing the consultation results, said that consultations are not referendums or decision-making tools, but are information-gathering tools. She acknowledged that people wanted the plans changed, But critics argue Mrs Machini's plans obfuscate the situation. Rebel News reached out to Mrs Machini and asked, more than half the respondents to a recent consultation rejected the proposals that include charging motorists. How can the GCP justify pushing ahead with the congestion charge despite having no democratic mandate to do so? The GCP responded by saying, the Greater Cambridge Partnership put forward a package of measures to the public which look to significantly transform the bus network, with cheap fares and more services operating from 5 AM to 1 AM to more locations, alongside better walking and cycling links. These upgrades would have been funded in the future by the phased introduction to a sustainable travel zone, with a road user charge as part of a package to encourage people to switch from car to frequent, cheap and reliable public transport. More than 24,000 people responded to our consultation, and a majority of people, 70%, supported better public transport and active travel links. But more than half, 58%, opposed the STZ, as is currently proposed as the mechanism for funding it. We are therefore exploring potential options and changes to see if we can create a scheme that delivers the improvements people want while changing things they do not to address the congestion and air quality issues we face. The GCP's executive board, made up of elected councillors from each of the 3 partner councils and non-voting representatives from academia and business, meets later this month to decide whether or how it should take the scheme forward. Another issue about the Cambridge Congestion Charge is how far this new Sustainable Travel Zone, or STZ, will stretch. On current plans, the Adam Brooks Hospital will be within the zone, so people needing medical care will be charged just for attending appointments. Healthcare workers will be paying extra just to go to work. Adam Brooks is just one hole in the plan. Councillor Naomi Bennett, the Green and Independent group leader on the City Council, told the Cambridge Independent, Cambridge City Council earns £10 million per year from car parking fines. It also has a commercial property portfolio and business rates income. If the STZ is successful in achieving a reduction in car journeys, then there is likely to be corresponding reduction of the City Council's income. If the reduction is 15%, then the council may lose £1.5 million. If the reduction is 50%, the most dramatic reduction anticipated, then the loss may be £5 million. She went on to say, this is not just a transport proposal. It will have an enormous impact on our local economy and the way we live. District councils from Bedford to West Suffolk took the time to make consultation responses. Even tiny parish councils made the effort to respond. Greens and Independents are the smallest group on the council, but we still made a detailed statement. Radio silence from the City Council and other political parties on such an important issue is unacceptable. Now, when researching the Cambridgeshire Congestion Charge, one of the problems I came across is the lack of balanced media coverage. There doesn't seem to be much sceptical journalism out there. However, I met a man in Oxford when covering the traffic filtering systems by the name of William Burnell of the Cambridge Cracker. William?
Hello.
Good to see you.
Yes, and you.
So talk to me about, well, the lack of media coverage when it comes to both sides of the argument of the congestion charge.
Well, I mean, that has been a big problem, really, and I suppose that was the reason why I got into it in the first place. When I first started learning about it, there wasn't any real coverage in the local press. You know, you've got the Cambridge Evening News or Cams Live or what have you, and they were always presenting it as a very positive scheme, and they never really gave you the full details of what they were trying to propose. So it's £5 for cars, £10 for vans, £50 for lorries, and any time it was on the media, they would say a charge of from £5 a day, you know what I mean? And they were always watering it down, and they would always, I suppose, sort of downplay the opposition to try to say that Cambridge was divided one way or the other. That wasn't the case. Like, on the ground, everybody here who lives here and works here knows nobody was for it. And when people started hearing about it, you know, you walk around town and ask everybody, it's like 90% opposed. But they were always trying to present it as, sort of 50-50, I guess. But as the time has gone by, thanks to the efforts of the protest movement and writers, myself, lots of other people have been writing about it and analysing it through social media mainly. We've, I think, pushed the media back, and they have actually started presenting it in a more realistic way.
The Cambridge Congestion Charge isn't just going to affect people in Cambridge. Thousands of people from around the country commute to Cambridge for work, so they are potentially going to have to pay over £1,000 per year in charges just for driving to work. But even people in other parts of Cambridgeshire, for example where I am now in Ely, people complain the bus services and other public transport networks aren't up to standard. So they have to drive into places like Cambridge for things like shopping and leisure activities, and they are also going to have to pay the charge. So I want to find out what the people of Ely think about the charges. So what do you think about the congestion charge?
Well, I think it's disgusting because, I mean, if you're going into hospital or anything like that and you're travelling through Cambridge and you've got to pay a congestion charge, I think that's absolutely terrible. But Cambridge itself, we don't go into that, but as I say, often visits to the hospital.
No, I don't think, personally, people working. If you live in Cambridge, you've got to go to work every day. I mean, it's a tenner in one way, and I mean, it's a lot of money coming out of your wages every week.
Do you know about the congestion? What are your thoughts on it?
I would say, off the top of my head, not a good thing, because whilst Cambridge is a busy place, I'm not quite sure it's got the pull of London, and I think it will put people off. And the public transport isn't very good, so in a way you need to fix that before you bring that in. Doing it the other way round is probably not going to be the best way round. Yeah, you put the congestion charge in and therefore hopefully raise money for better public transport, but that's too late really. It needs to be done beforehand.
So what are your thoughts on the Cambridge congestion charge?
It's difficult because as I don't live in Cambridge and I don't go into Cambridge a lot, my opinions might not be that valid. But have a congestion charge by all means, but don't cut the bloody bus routes, and that's what they've done. Stagecoach have cut the number of buses going into Cambridge, and so people from outside are going to have real trouble getting in now. So I'm not against the congestion charge per se, but don't cut the buses.
Is Adam Brooks included?
I believe Adam Brooks is in like the catchment area. Yes.
Yeah. So, I think it's a bit much. We already travel twice a week from Littleport, and then we're going to have to be paying another £10 a week beside petrol and whatever.
And would that have a big impact on your pocket, or?
Yeah, it would impact us, but I mean, going twice a week now with Keith impacted us to start with, but if he doesn't have his treatment, he wouldn't be here much longer, so you just do it, but it's just an extra thing to pay out for, isn't it? Yeah?
But what do you think about these charges that are going to come into play?
Oh, it'll kill Cambridge, definitely.
Who do you think it'll affect the most?
Shoppers. Yeah, definitely.
No idea if they took on consideration people who have to travel to Cambridge working shifts. So each day they're going to pay that. Have they really thought to give them special discount or special pass? Because otherwise it's cost them too much money. How can you pay every day £5? Or is it 24 hours, or is it restrict hours? Is it overnight as well? I don't have any details, so I'm ever so sorry to say that I cannot give you the more information, but that's me.
And do you think it's fair, putting the whole shift patterns and people working aside, do you think it's fair to have to pay twice? You already paid to use the roads through tax. Do you think it's fair to then pay twice through a congestion charge?
I don't think so. Especially in the present time. I don't know when that we were planning to put in use, but in present time is really, everything is so difficult. We really have to be careful how we judge the money. So it's not just on top of everything coming extra. Your wages doesn't go as fast, or pension doesn't go as high, quick sort of thing. So I don't think so that this is right.
Whilst in Ely, I couldn't resist the chance to speak with a member of East Cambridgeshire District Council and Conservative Group leader Anna Bailey to find out what she thinks about the Cambridge Congestion Charge. So tell me exactly what you think about this congestion charge.
Well, the effect of the congestion charge on East Cambridgeshire residents is awful. East Cambridgeshire has about 90,000 population. They need regular, easy access to Cambridge for work, education, leisure, healthcare, Adam Brooks Hospital. On a daily basis, and we have a lot of outcommuting from East Cambridgeshire, people who are working in retail and servicing the offices and supporting the economy of Cambridge. And unfortunately, East Cambridgeshire gets no say in this at all through the Greater Cambridge Partnership because we don't have a seat at the table. And my residents are very clear that they are against this congestion charge. We've done many surveys and 89% of people in East Cambridgeshire that responded to our survey are against the Cambridge congestion charge.
So how is this going to affect normal everyday people in your constituency? And in terms of commuting, are there many people that commute into the area?
Yeah, absolutely. East Cambridgeshire residents are heavy commuters into Cambridge Centre, into the sustainable travel zone, and it will have a massive impact on them. A lot of them working unsociable hours, servicing offices, working at Adam Brooks, and they will have to pay the charge. If they want to live a normal life. People lead complicated lives. They have complex travel journeys, and the transport offer for East Cambridgeshire residents is a complete non-starter. Anybody who's not living directly on one of the proposed bus routes will face many changes of bus and many hours commuting to get to work or education in Cambridge, and it's just not viable. And to expect people to pay £5 a day, £1,300 to, in the middle of a cost of living crisis is just, it's outrageous, and it's a curb on our freedoms, and I absolutely can't support it.
And what can you tell me about mandates? Because I've seen a survey where it said that 70% of people want better bus routes. So surely that means they want this. What can you tell me?
Well, of course, we want better bus routes. We want better public transport, and there are ways of delivering that. Buses aren't the whole answer. They're part of the answer. But there is no political mandate for this congestion charge. Not a single Cambridgeshire politician stood on a mandate of bringing in road charging to Cambridgeshire. Cambridge is our county town. The Labour mayor is talking about road charging across a wide geography in his local transport plan, and he didn't stand on a political mandate. No politician stood on a campaign message of bringing in road charging. And since then, of course, we've had the consultation results, 24,000 people, biggest response to a consultation in Cambridgeshire ever, I believe, and it's perfectly clear that the people have rejected the road charging element of the scheme.
So it's been an interesting day here in Cambridge. Having spoken to many people across the city, it appears there is strong opposition against the Cambridge congestion charge. Many people are concerned that in a cost of living crisis, this is just going to be another tax levied on the less well-off in society. Not only that, people are concerned about the lack of democracy. They've strongly opposed it, and they haven't been asked if they want it. However, the GCP, which has big business and the university at front and centre, they seem to be going ahead with it no matter what. So no one quite knows exactly what the future holds. However, the people of Cambridge are very concerned. This has been Callum Smiles for Rebel News here in Cambridge. If you like this style of reporting, and if these sorts of stories resonate with you, as this is a sort of thing that the mainstream media do not talk about, or when they do talk about it, they don't often give a balanced argument. Well, here at Rebel News we do, and we are a crowd-funded company, which means we can only do this with your support. It is your donations that have brought us here to Cambridge today to cover this sort of story. So if you want to see these stories continue, please head over to ukreporters.co.uk. Thank you.